Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Constitutional amendment proposed to accommodate an 18-year-old scholar in the Barbados Senate. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 26th January 2022. Details when we return.
Conveniently located in the Grand Anne Shopping Centre, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grandans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados proposes a constitutional amendment to allow an 18-year-old to serve in the Senate. Khalil Kofdiwala, who is tipped to becoming the youngest senator, says he is humbled and ready to serve. More in this Barbados Today news item.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley has proposed a constitutional amendment to allow an 18-year-old to serve in the Senate for the first time. In an address to the nation on Monday night, in which she revealed her cabinet, the Prime Minister announced plans to appoint Barbados scholar Khalil Kofdiwala as a senator.
During the election campaign, I made a serious promise to engage our young people and to bring them into the center of governance and national self-determination. It is, in my view, an anomaly that a person who is 18 years old in Barbados has the right to vote, but they do not have the capacity to serve in the Senate of our nation. It is therefore my intention to correct this by asking the Cabinet to agree, and Parliament thereafter, to bring a constitutional amendment to allow an 18-year-old to serve in the Senate of Barbados for the first time. I propose, should it be accepted and successful, that Senator Khalil Kofdiwala should be that person who will serve as a senator. I have said from the very beginning, if you're old enough to vote, then you must be old enough to serve. I look forward to the support of all across civil society for this fundamental change.
The Prime Minister, whose Barbados Labour Party won all 30 seats in the country's parliament in last Wednesday's general election, also revealed that she would consult with the opposition parties that contested the poll on the appointment of 2 opposition senators.
In 2018, faced with a similar election result of 30-0 in the lower house, I proposed then to offer to the opposition parties the opportunity to appoint the 2 senators despite not securing any seats at the polls. It is the intention of this government again to engage with the opposition parties which contested the last 2 elections to determine how best they may participate in the appointment of 2 opposition senators provided for in our Constitution. I am equally awaiting a legal opinion from the Honourable Attorney General on this matter before we start those formal discussions with the opposition parties.
Meanwhile, the young man tipped to become the island's youngest senator says he is humbled. Khalil Kofdiwala says while the Prime Minister's announcement came as a surprise, he is ready to serve.
I'm truly humbled to have been asked by the Prime Minister to serve at this point in time in the capacity which she has asked me to. Of course, it is not official or anything yet. The necessary constitutional arrangements have to be made, but that if it be the will of the Cabinet and the will of the Parliament, and further to that, if it be accepted by Her Excellency, and I do take the seat, I take it not for myself, because it really isn't about me. I do it for all young people, and particularly those who are in that category of being the youngest of the young, at 18 and 19 and 20 and 21, and even of younger age, who are often even more neglected than the other groups of young people. And so I do it for them, and I do it to be able to give voice and to be a physical manifestation of the fact that we as a group of people are equally deserving of representation at all levels. And it is therefore visionary of the Prime Minister and her government at this time, and I really extend my heartfelt gratitude, not only again for myself, but for all young people.
A brand new ministerial team is expected to be sworn in today in Barbados.
After much anticipation, Prime Minister Mia Mottley made the announcement in a national address. Notable changes to the cabinet include the naming of a deputy prime minister and 3 senior ministers.
Deputy Prime Minister of Barbados from Wednesday shall be Cynthia Bradshaw, and she shall have coordinating responsibility as a senior person for infrastructure. She shall also be the Minister of Transport, Works and Water Resources, and shall be leader of government business in the House of Assembly. The Honourable Dale Marshall, who has already been sworn in as Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, will assume the role as the Senior Minister coordinating for governance in our Cabinet, and I thank him for accepting that. Jerome Walcott will be the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, but he will be the Senior Minister coordinating for all social and environmental policy as we go forward with this new arrangements. Kerry Simmons will be the Senior Minister coordinating the productive sectors, but will substantively be the Minister of Energy and Business Development. And may I say here that business development will include from small business to international business, because as we made clear in the last term, all global business is now local and all local business is now global.
The Prime Minister said her government's new development agenda, entitled Our Barbados Owning Our Future, is a transformative one that's intended to build human and social capital and a sustainable economy.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley's remodeling of her cabinet has been done to enhance governance.
That's the view of political scientist Dr. George Bell, who believes Mottley's changes have been influenced by her first term in office. The Prime Minister announced her new cabinet on Monday, naming Cynthia Bradshaw as Deputy Prime Minister and 3 other long-standing members of the Barbados Labour Party as senior ministers. Dr. Bell said the Prime Minister's decision to reduce the size of the cabinet also showed she had been listening.
I think that she has brought about changes to reflect that, so that the changes seem to be the president core around herself in terms of administration of government by appointing senior ministers, and also to reward those people that are important to her maintaining anchor in the leadership of the government. And likewise, the appointment of a deputy prime minister would also finish that. The only exception to that is the departure of Cynthia Ford, who I would have seen also as a part of the political core for the Barbados Party government. But the prime minister said that she had requested to take leave of cabinet duties.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Meanwhile, one of the opposition Democratic Labour Party's veteran politicians is not ruling out the possibility of putting himself up for the leadership of the party now that the post is vacant.
Former Government Minister Dr. David Estwick, who has served in various ministries, revealed on Monday that he had not made a final decision yet on whether to run for leadership of the party.
Well, at this point in time, I just watching the playing field only. And it is best to do it that because I want to see what Mayor is going to do. Because the continuing playing the game of somebody leaving the government and going to opposition is foolishness. And it is best for her to decide to execute an amendment to the Constitution. and start speaking to proportional representation and make the amendments in regards to, the government general with the president would normally have 7 persons nominated to the Senate. The opposition normally has 2 irrespective of how many votes they got. So the best way to handle that would be to just make an amendment and this shifts what would normally be the allocation from the president over to the party with the next largest number of votes. And so that you can have a better balance and so on. So I want to wait to see what she is going to do. Unless we can follow the same role as someone like another person across on the floor, that's experience.
In other news, opposition parties in Guyana are calling for strict measures to be put in place to deal with COVID-19 cases. Gordon Mosley of News Source Guyana reports.
Almost 18,000 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 since the start of January, representing the highest number of infections recorded since the pandemic came to Guyana in a single month. The country has also recorded 83 deaths since the start of this month, with 27 of those deaths confirmed in the past 3 days alone. The continuing spread of the virus across the country has triggered calls for the government to put systems in place to stem the spread. Over the weekend, political party A New and United Guyana urged the government to implement new measures to address the spread of COVID-19 cases. The party noted that while there has been no rapid increase in deaths, the increase in hospitalizations and spread remains a cause for concern. The main opposition, APNU-AFC, has also been calling for stricter measures for several weeks as the caseload continues to climb. The opposition has also roasted the government for restricting PCR testing at government health institutions, saying that move could result in a greater spread and people being unaware of their true status. The government has not reacted to the calls by the opposition parties.
Acting Commissioner of Police in Trinidad and Tobago, MacDonald Jacob, says both the TTPS's internal audit and criminal investigation continue apace, with support from a few officers who were lending assistance to retired Justice Stanley John in his investigative exercise. TV6's Renissa Cutting reports.
The acting commissioner confirms that he would have received the Stanley John report earlier this month.
We know recently came in the receipt of the Justice John report, and work is being done, and recommendations will be made within a short space of time whether or not there is need to place persons on suspension.
Thus far, 2 civilians and 2 police officers have been charged with illegal activity in the FUL process. Those 2 officers have been suspended, but Jacob was unable to say how many other officers are possibly implicated.
As the investigations go along, once anyone, whether it's a police officer, prison officer, defense force personnel, whosoever we come across who might be culpable will in fact be charged.
Jacob further informs TV6 that the retired Justice Stanley John was duly supported in his investigative process by active police officers who form part of the investigative team for the TTPS's internal probes.
Yes, we already have a foundation there from the work done by a team who were in fact assisting Justice Stanley John in his work, and we had all items in the vault secured. So they now started getting into now this audit. I could assure you this audit will take some time because, it's numerous FULs and variations and that we are dealing with.
At this time, the firearms permit section remains shut down.
The persons who were attached to that department, right, that is wrong to see something to the 2 officers, they were reassigned to various divisions and sections.
But work is ongoing to process some FUL applications with the assistance of some retired TTPS personnel.
We will be doing some aspect of work to deal with some outstanding matters, as I said, provisional permits and other things from the latter part of last year. But we will not be necessarily taking any new applications at this time. We will look to clear what we have existing.
Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.